Paul Orfila couldn't read or write, yet look what he did with his life. He created Kinko's, a multi-billion-dollar company that provided jobs for thousands of people. In our world of duality, every disadvantage contains its opposite, an advantage. Paul turned his disadvantages into advantages. Anastasia Soare had a dream of escaping communist Romania. For almost 3 years, she planned and waited to make her escape with her daughter. Her decision to flee involved great risks, and when she finally arrived in the United States, Anastasia came face to face with another huge decision. She was working 14-hour days to earn enough money to support her family. And unless she did something different, this would be her lot in life.
I needed to do something. I needed to prove and to find out who I was as a person, what I was worth. I'm not saying it wasn't scary, because it was scary. But I thought, this is why I came to this country. This is the land of opportunity. I have to do this. Otherwise, why did I come here? To have a worse life than I had in Romania? No.
Living under very difficult circumstances in Romania instilled in Anastasia a particular strength of character and a determination that would carry her through every obstacle to fulfill her dream of having her own business. That business grew into an empire with over 1,000 outlets in the United States, more than 600 outlets internationally, and salons in multiple countries throughout the world. No life circumstances are 100% negative. Every negative circumstance also contains its opposite. And so there is something good buried within every seemingly bad situation. Life is not about the negative circumstances that happen to you. It's about what you do with the golden opportunities hidden within. You're never called to follow a dream unless there are multiple ways for you to fulfill it. It's downright impossible for you to have a dream if you can't at the very least make the essence of that dream come true. Your dreams are calling you to the best life you can have. They are calling you to find the hero within you.
I grew up in a relatively picturesque environment. My parents were awesome, and it did a lot to shelter me from the pain in the world. When I started to step outside myself and see the pain in others and realize that I could do something about it, it made it crystal clear that there was really nothing else I could do with my life. And so my dream has really been to combine pop culture with inspiration and wisdom so that we can reach the greatest number of people possible.
If you hear the call and you don't respond to it because you're too scared or you don't believe you can achieve it, sometimes circumstances will push you to follow your dream, as happened with me. I was working as a television producer at a network, and I used to dream of starting my own television production company. I would never have done it because I had a family to support. My job paid well, and we needed the money to eat and keep a roof over our heads. I clung to the security of my job with all of my might, despite many people urging me to start my own company. Then I got fired. I was in shock. How would we eat? How would we pay for our daughter's education? How could we pay the mortgage on our house? One option I had was to get a job at a different television network, but I couldn't bear the thought of going back to what I had been doing. I realized that since I had been fired, I had nothing to lose, and so I started working on ideas for television shows on a plastic table and chairs in the back room of our very humble house. I developed an idea and created a pitch for a television show, even though I had no idea how to create a pitch. But I believed in the idea, and so, with heart pounding and legs trembling, I presented the idea to executives at one of the networks. The show was commissioned on the spot, And when it aired, it was a huge success and became a long-running series. Through being fired, I was given the perfect circumstances to finally answer my calling and live my dream. And I remain grateful to this day for that television network firing me. Without them, I would have refused the call to follow my dream, and I would have missed living the most exciting and fulfilling journey of my life. Refusal of the call.
The risk that you take in not pursuing your dream is terminal. It's the end. It's a life without fulfillment. It's a life without accomplishment. It's a life without contentment. And it's a life without joy. It's misery.
When you refuse the call from life to follow your dreams, you run the risk of living an unfulfilled and unhappy life. No matter what you do and no matter what material things you acquire along the way, if you don't do the things that make your heart sing, you will feel an overwhelming sense of dissatisfaction and regret when you get to the end of your life. Don't let this be the story of your life. No matter how young or how old you are right now, you have a greater story to live. It may seem like a big risk to follow your dream, but isn't the greatest risk of all to miss your life?
To never give your dreams a chance is the biggest failure.
When you don't follow your dream or passion, then what you work for will seem like a cage, albeit a golden one, body without soul. It will result in being frustrated, listless, and completely devoid of a purpose of existence.
Responding to your calling and deciding to follow your dreams is actually the easy way. Refusing the call is the hard way, because you risk being miserable and dooming yourself to a life without joy, a life without passion, and a life without meaning or purpose. Perhaps you started out loving your current job, but in time your work has become a grind to you. This might mean your current job is not your ultimate calling, and you need to dig deep and ask yourself whether somewhere along the way you put your dreams aside.
If you're doing anything in life that's not making your heart sing, that's not fueling your passion to get up on a daily basis, then you're not fulfilling your role as a human being on this planet.
Life is short. It's not a dress rehearsal. It's about grabbing it by the scruff of the neck and experiencing as many things and meeting as many people as possible. It's definitely not about sitting on the sofa and watching TV and moaning about what might have been.
We buried my mother the day after Christmas. I was 16 years old. We had no money for a real funeral, so she was in a pine box with the lid nailed on. They wrote words head and feet on this box. It was the most awful thing because we had a troubled life, but we had a very loving relationship. And my mother used to sit at the foot of my bed and share her dreams with me about being sober, about getting a house, about having a better life. And at the end of all her talks was that she was going to get around to doing it, but not right now. She would do it later. She would do it later. And I realized at some point that I was living my life telling myself I would do things later.
You might think, I've got time to follow my dreams. You don't have time. Life is short. The current life expectancy is 24,869 days. While some of us will have more days and some fewer, either way, you have only a precious number of days to live this life, and so you do not have time to put off your dreams. It is now or never. If you don't do it now, you will keep putting it off and you'll never do it. The time is now. As Timothy Ferriss, author of the 4-Hour Workweek, says, someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. Simply realizing that no one else is going to make your dreams come true is a big step. Your boss, friends, partner, family, and children cannot live your life for you. You are responsible for creating a life that makes you happy and fulfilled. No one else can do that for you.
The most important thing people need to do is take responsibility for their actions. It's very easy to blame your upbringing or lack of money or lack of this or that. But if you stop and say, you know what, there's no one ultimately responsible for my life but myself, that is the really important step you can take to realize that you have to shake things up. You have to change your mindset, you have to change that job, you have to change whatever it is to make things happen.
When we're kids, we're onto something that adults lose. Everything is new and exciting, but also anything's really possible. Then something happens. We fail, we get rejected, we get disappointed, we atrophy that part of ourselves, and we get way too serious. But what if you woke up every day and you just said, what if I went for the things that I want? My dreams. You hit the alarm clock, you put your feet on the floor, and you just go for it. To have that magic back in your life. To live for the sake of possibility.
You might be afraid to go after what you want in life because you think you could fail. But remember that you will never receive the call to follow a dream unless you have the wherewithal to accomplish that dream and turn it into a reality. Laird Hamilton understands how we can often get in our own way.
The fear of failure stops people from doing a lot of things. My mom used to have a saying that we're each our greatest inhibitors, that we stop ourselves.
Another way we can stop ourselves is to think that there are no good ideas or opportunities left, and use that as our excuse not to make anything of our life. If you think there are no good opportunities, look at how easily Paul Orfila found a golden opportunity. While standing in a line to use a library photocopier, Paul Orfila saw something that nobody else saw. He thought to himself, if there's a line here, there must be lines in other places. And from that simple observation, the idea of Kinko's was born.
If I have any good attributes, I know how to be in the present. You can't see opportunity if you are not in the moment.
A lot of people look at successful people and just shrug it off and say, oh, they've been lucky. But in life, you make your own luck, and when those opportunities come, you're ready to jump on them.
Opportunities are in front of everybody every day. It's almost like a train station. Everybody is in the station. There are trains that stop in front of people, but they have their eyes closed. They don't have their eyes open to see and to get onto that train. Opportunities are everywhere.
You do not need a big dream to do a big thing. Just be open to life's opportunities.
The inventor Ken Hakuta, known as Dr. Fad, explains that fresh opportunities are constantly available. When he says, people will try to tell you that all of the great opportunities have been snapped up. In reality, the world changes every second, blowing new opportunities in all directions, including yours. The illusion of security. Don't let money and security dictate your choices in life. Life continually changes. Companies change hands, go bankrupt, or relocate overseas. Jobs are lost, or economic collapse brings about massive cutbacks. You can lose your job, your savings, and your house. Marriages can end, health challenges can appear, and circumstances can arise that throw the security you thought you had out the door. I chose financial security over following my dreams, and when I was fired, I was clearly shown that the security I thought I had was all in my mind. Real security means knowing there is no security, because then you will make sure you live every day of your life to the fullest.
Family and friends, while they love you and while they want what's best for you, unless you have a kick-ass mom or dad or a kick-ass environment that you grew up in, generally they're going to want you to take the financially safe path where there's certainty and safety.
As painful as it might be in the short term to step away from the security and a job that is paying well, you've got decades of life to live. you might as well suffer a bit of short-term pain to find something you love, even at a lower salary. Because if you do a job you love, you will end up being successful in so many other ways.
Don't let less money let you compromise on what you love to do. What you excel in will definitely bring you that very prosperity and security you need. Maybe the start would be small, but as one achieves perfection in what you are doing, everything else will follow.
Being trapped by security can happen to anyone. There are many people making a lot of money whose work is a grind to them, and they're as unfulfilled and unhappy as those making a lot less money.
What is money for you? If it's the goal, then it will be the ruler of you. It'll dictate your movements and it'll control you.
Material things are wonderful, and experiencing them is one of the great pleasures of living on Earth. But through the conditioning of society, we can be misled into thinking that the accruement of material things is the purpose of our life. If material things were the purpose of our life, they would provide true happiness, fulfillment, and satisfaction, and we'd never need to buy another thing. The happiness we feel when we get those things wouldn't be fleeting, but would be everlasting. If accruing material things were our purpose in life, we would be able to take them with us when we leave. You would walk outside to get the paper in the morning and see that old man Joe's house across the street disappeared because he took it with him. We can't take material things with us because they are not who we are. While they are part of the joy of living on Earth, they are not the purpose of our life.
It was tough. It was challenging, and I sacrificed a lot. But I made those sacrifices out of choice, because following my dream of becoming a world champion was way more important to me than earning money.
We all need food, shelter, and clothing, but the pursuit of material things for their sake alone robs us of the freedom to live a truly fulfilling life. Don't let the tail wag the dog by making security and the pursuit of material things the purpose of your life, instead of following your dreams. The irony is that when you do choose to follow your dreams over security, you will have it all: material riches and a rich, fulfilling life. In addition, you receive something that money can never buy. You will have the greatest feeling of accomplishment, fulfillment, and satisfaction. Of course, you will always want to do more and continue to build on your dreams. But when you experience the feeling of absolute fulfillment from taking the hero's journey, you will have no doubt that it was what you were born to do. And all that you gain within from fulfilling your purpose is what you do take with you when you leave. Don't get to the end of your life and regret all the things you didn't do. Your life is precious. If you sell yourself out, you won't find the happiness you desperately seek, because true happiness comes from fulfilling your dreams. Imagine what it would be like to get to the end of your life with no regrets. Imagine reflecting back on everything you did, and you are filled with the greatest feeling of satisfaction.
You know that saying, don't die with your music still inside of you? People have things they dream of when they lay their head on the pillow at night. And if you don't honor that voice, it doesn't go anywhere. It's an energy that lives inside of you. You can't negate that energy. It's part of the fiber of who you are as a person. So if you put your head down on the pillow at night and you are called to do something in this world and you ignore that, then that dream is still locked inside of you. To me, that's the worst thing, to die with your music inside of you.
What Liz Murray is talking about happens frequently. A friend of mine worked for many years in the administration area of television, and through changes in the company she worked for, she was pushed out of her job. She knew what she wanted to do more than anything, which was to be a movie director, and she started to make plans for a new life of living her dream. But just before she had seized the opportunity and put her new life into action as a movie director, She was offered a well-paying job back in television administration. She took the job, and just like that, her dreams and the possibility of her new life vanished.